and welcome to Tarot Thursday. I'm your host, Reverend Mary Hawk, and with me is Reverend Don Lewis.
Hello.
And thank you for joining us. As usual, we are here to do a 3-card, more or less, tarot reading. So if you have a question, go ahead and post it in chat.
It's
And,
three cards more or less, but it's almost always more and almost never less.
yeah, it's never less. It's always at least 3. So go ahead and post your question or just say hi and tell us where you're from. So thank you for joining me, Reverend Don, and how are you tonight?
I am good. How are you tonight?
I am doing good. It's very rainy here in Nashville.
You were saying that.
And hello to Lena, and hello to Noah, Noah's joining us from Western Pennsylvania.
Hello,
And
hello.
Lena has asked for a general reading. So we will do a general reading for Lena.
Okay. So the first card I have drawn is Fortune. And I interpret Fortune to say that Lena should find themselves in a position of getting a little help from the universe, a little good fortune, a little good luck, a little helping hand with the things they're trying to do. The energies of the universe are moving in the direction they want to go. With it, we have the mind. The mind is one of the extra major arcana cards in the Tarot of Hecate, which is a 100-card deck. And mind says that in dealing with the situations that Lena is facing at this time, it's very important to be thinking about them. Sometimes it's important to be feeling what's going on. Sometimes it's more important to be thinking. And this is saying, look at everything and make well-informed decisions. Don't just let things run on by, but actively make the decisions on where you're going. And the third card is the Prince of Lamps, which says, don't beat up on yourself. It's possible that Lena may be feeling, well, maybe tending to do a little beating up on themselves because of things that are happening that may or may not be their fault. It doesn't matter. It's not the right reaction to it. Don't beat up on yourself, but use your mind to find your way through it. And that will give you the better reaction. And then I'm going to draw the Brian card. And I've drawn Justice. And it's interesting because Justice was the escapee that happened before we actually started this question. But she has come up again. And Justice is related to Fortune in having a good outcome to your situation. Fortune is getting a little bit of help from the universe. Justice is getting what you deserve in the situation, what you've worked for, what you have laid the basis for. So what I would say is that for Lena, a lot of their a lot of the benefit of their work will be coming back to them as they go forward. Now, if we look at these cards and we say, well, is this describing a good situation? I would say ultimately yes, but in the immediate future, meaning the next few weeks, it's describing a process of working toward that good situation. And again, the importance of not blaming yourself for what is not your fault, or even if it is, not focusing on blame, but instead focusing on solutions and finding them. And there you go.
All right, so the first card I've got for you is the stars. So here we see someone who is meditating or perhaps astral traveling. And this card is talking about calling on your higher self or your spirit guides, however you want to view that. So, you need to be approaching your current situation from a spiritual angle. I've got the Princess of Wands. Wands are about our passion, and the Princess of Wands is telling you don't hold back. There's something you want to do and you've been holding yourself back. Stop doing that and go ahead and go for it. I have the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups is about making a choice. That's going to be coming up soon. You're going to have several options. And I'm going to pull one more card, and I've got the Veil. It's one of the extra cards in the Tarot of Hecate, and with the Veil, something is going to be revealed to you soon. So I hope you find that helpful. And hello to Renee, who's joining us. How
Hello,
are you
Renee.
doing tonight, Renee? And if anyone else has a question, you can go ahead and post it. And Reverend Don, I wonder if you would do a reading. My husband is having an ultrasound tomorrow. He's having some gastrointestinal issues, and I'm a bit too close to the situation
Okay.
to really read for him on it.
As you can see, I'm shuffling the cards.
And Lena says, thank you, and you are very welcome.
Okay. First card I have drawn is the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is celebration and community. So for a question like this is a very good card to start with. And it can be taken as achieving something you've desired or celebration in general. With it, we have the King of Pentacles, which is prosperity. Also stability. And the Seven of Wands. So the first two I would take as just completely positive. Seven of Wands is victory after hard work. So I'm going to say that what will come out of this is that there's probably going to need to be something done, possibly in the way of a personal adjustment of some sort. That may take a little effort to do. but it's nothing particularly bad. I'm going to draw another card. Why? Because of course I am. And I've drawn the Seven of Cups, which I basically would take to just confirm that. The Seven of Cups. I would take the Seven of Cups to say be very careful of understanding everything that's involved and don't be distracted from it. So again, there may be some personal adjustment that's needed, maybe a change in diet or what have you. It doesn't look to me like anything overly significant, but possibly annoying.
Okay, thank you very much.
As far as the outcome of the situation goes, it looks good. So there you go.
All right. Thank you. And Renee would like a reading about romance in her life.
Okay. So the first card that I have drawn is once again Justice, our former escapee. And Justice is getting what you've worked for, receiving the benefit of your actions. So it's saying that in terms of romance around Renee, work has already been done, perhaps, that may be paying off. Maybe in general, maybe in terms of a particular direction, but effort has already been put out and things are coming back. The Princess of Coins says that everything that's needed is there. Everything that is required is present. It's just a matter of going forward. And with the Princess of Coins, sometimes the person will hold themselves back for one reason or another, but they don't need to. So it's saying, yeah, go for it. Do not hold yourself back. And then we have the Ten of Cups, which is happiness. You can see it has the little family and mama, papa, and kid, which in a question like this, particularly on the subject of romance, says, yes, if you go forward, it will work out well for you. So I would say there's a distinct chance of romance right there in the future, and it could go very well.
Now, the first card I've got is the Body, and it's looking at Gaia as an ensouled being, and it's talking about how everything is interconnected. The next card I have is the Ten of Lamps, which talks about working together and is similar to the Body. And then I have Time, which is talking about how things come in cycles. And so when I look at these three cards together, what I'm seeing is that everything in your life is interconnected and comes in cycles. So when you're asking about romance, I think essentially you're asking, is it the right point in the cycle? And then I had an escapee and I got the Tower.
It's quite the escapee.
So I think the answer is if you get a romance, it's going to change your life inside out. So be prepared. And I think essentially, if you pursue it, the time is right, but be aware of the consequences. Might be the best way to tell you what I'm seeing in the reading.
Okay.
All righty.
Do we have anyone else who wants a reading?
Who else has a question for us?
Meanwhile, we can talk at you. Well, and hello to Janet.
And Renee says, excellent readings.
Oh, wonderful. So, how are things in Nashville, other than wet?
Yeah, they're wet. Planning Pagan Pride Day, planning 3 fundraisers, you know.
What is the date for Pagan Pride Day this year?
It is Saturday, October the 3rd. We're the first Saturday in October, as always.
Most excellent. So people can start planning right now for
Yes.
Nashville Pagan Pride.
So that is what is big in my world in Nashville. And I have my grandchild for the weekend.
Yes.
And Janet says, I'm having an 18-year-old that was kicked out by their parents recently come stay with us. How will that work out in the next 5 weeks? Well, number one, bless you.
Yes. Okay. Ooh. So the first card I've drawn is the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords says that whatever you're worried about in the situation, you certainly have a need to be worried about, but should not really be afraid of. Whatever you might fear developing is something that you should in fact confront head on and take by the horns. The Nine of Swords is called the Ghastly Nightmare card, and the moral of the card is that, like a nightmare, The situation won't actually hurt you unless you try to get away from it and fall out of bed. So whatever part of this you may be afraid of, don't try to get away from it, but face it head on. And that's the best way to deal with it. It's followed by the Seven of Swords, which is it's another card of victory after hard work. And you can see the little man has reached the top of the hill, but he knows he's been going uphill. So you may find that you've taken on a project. You may feel yourself putting out the work for that project, but you can totally do it. Be prepared to extend a little effort. And then we have the Nine of Coins. The Nine of Coins is sometimes described as the archetypal New Age witch or shaman. And it represents self-mastery, standing on your own 2 feet, being able to do everything that you want to do, having all the skill that you need. And it says that, yeah, this may be in places a bit of an uphill battle. There may be certain things you have to deal with you'd have rather not, but it's all going to be fine, and you're more than able to do it. So with that, let us draw the Brian card. The Brian card is Fortune. And as you may remember from an earlier reading, Fortune is getting help from the universe. So in addition to having all the skill that you need for it, you're also going to find things are going to go in your direction. It just means that you do have to deal with the things that are there. And if you do that, everything's going to go fine. And there you go.
Okay, first card I've got is the Emperor. And the Emperor is also about cycles. And things come and go in cycles. So even if it seems tough right now, it will get better. I've got the Fool, and I really feel like this refers to the young person you've taken in rather than you. And this is about someone who's just at the start of their journey. And they can literally go anywhere. I've got the Ace of Swords. And this is about a decision that's going to have to be taken quickly. So it's coming up in the next few days. And when you have to make the decision, make it. The worst thing you can do is dilly-dally around about it. Just make up your mind what needs to be done in the moment and do it. And I'm also going to draw a Brian card, and I've got the Two of Cups. And it can be a romantic relationship, but I'm really going to interpret it in this case as more that things are going to work out well in this particular situation.
And Janet says, it seems that the reading is about a lot more than just what I asked. Thank you both.
You're very welcome.
It's answering unspoken questions as well as the obvious one. Yay.
Yes, the cards do that, and sometimes the cards tell you what you need to hear and not what you ask.
Yes.
Okay, and let's see here. Chad has gotten busy on us. Selma says, hi, happy to see you. Can I have a reading for the coming week? And Nanda says, good evening, everyone. Hippie Janet noted 2 9s. And Harry says, your reading last week was right. I had the skills and improved even more this week.
Wonderful.
Let me request a reading on what to do to meet the goddess Inanna. All right, so we're going to do a reading for Selma about the coming week, and then one for Harry about meeting the goddess Inanna. Find a cave. But first for Selma.
Yes.
And as always, we do this as a service. If you'd like to send us a tip, my PayPal is maryhawk1968 at Gmail. You can contact me at that address if you'd like to book a reading with me. And how do they reach you, Reverend Don?
You can reach me at donlewishp@aol.com.
Or you can also reach out to me on Facebook. Either at Mary Hawk or at Divination TV.
So, first card I have drawn for Selma is Temperance. Temperance is creating new situations out of old situations. Revitalizing your situations, taking things and breathing new life into them, and bringing together things that don't necessarily immediately seem to all belong in the same place, but do, to create new situations for yourself. With it, we have the past. The past says, pay attention to your past, examine your past, but apply it with common sense. You can see the lady in the picture is looking at her past reflection, and it is saying, do not allow the past to devalue the present. It's also saying, pay attention to what worked well in the past and what did not work well, and apply those in the present. So if you did something that was successful in a similar situation, you want to do it again. If you didn't, if you did something that was not effective in a similar situation, do not repeat that mistake, and also do not allow idealization of the past to overshadow what you need to do right now. Then we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is a feeling that situations are not as you would like them to be. You can see the house on fire in the picture. And that kind of describes the card. You may feel like the house is on fire. You may feel like things are not allowing you to do what you would like to do. And to go back to that last card, you may be comparing this to past situations that seemed better. In dealing with this, the way you want to deal with it is go back to Temperance and take what's there and put it together differently. Try a different approach. Try new creations with the situation. Now, we also had an escapee, which will be our Brian card. And the escapee is the Magus. The Magus says that you can really do whatever you want to do here. You have the power and the ability to do whatever it is that you want. So you need to be very clear on what you want. Do not be distracted by the things that seem to be going on around you or by illusions of the past, but focus on the skills that you've got to make the present better, and you'll be successful in doing so. And there you go.
Well, I have a 5 for you. I've got the 5 of Pentacles, which suggests you may be feeling like there is a lack of resources in the material realm. I have the Eight of Wands, which suggests there are changes coming, and when they happen, they're going to come quickly. So be prepared. And I've drawn the Universe, and that says you are coming to the end of a cycle. And when that happens, you can choose what direction you want to move in. And I've drawn you a Brian card, and I've pulled Time. And this is the Mayan god of time. And the Mayans viewed time as a series of repeating cycles. So remember, whatever is going on right now, even if it isn't so great, it's temporary. Things will change and they will get better. If it's going really well, remember that as well and save something back for when times aren't so good. So I hope that helps, Selma.
Yes. So now we were going
And
to.
let's see. Selma says, I'm not happy with the job I recently joined. There is a lot of bullying. And then, okay, thanks. Okay. Well, I hope that improves for you.
Yeah.
And now, Harry has asked for a reading on how to meet or what to do to meet the goddess Inanna.
Well, the first card that I have drawn is the Seven of Pentacles, which I assume is where you are right now. It's looking at the future, not being quite sure how to go about achieving what you desire. With it, we have the Three of Wands, which says you will achieve it. And the Three of Wands is victory and community. So it may be that part of the answer to this question is to work with some other people who can help you to achieve this goal. And then my third card is the Six of Swords, which represents a journey. And that can be an internal journey, which may be saying that in order to do this, you're going to have to go through a period of learning, maybe a period of training to get to exactly where you want to be. It could also possibly be a physical journey. It could be saying that you need to find the right place also, maybe the right place with the right people. But what it's saying is that you can absolutely get there, but you are going to have some movement before you do. I'm going to draw you a Brian card because of course I am. The Brian card is the Princess of Cups. And the Princess of Cups says that it's important for you to express your feelings, but not to be dominated by them. So, in pursuing the goddess Inanna, you certainly want to keep your heart open, but don't let your emotions completely dominate the process. You want to pursue it at a mental and spiritual level. And of course, there's an emotional element to that as well, but it should not be the dominant level according to these cards. And there you go.
So the first card I've got is the Four of Pentacles, which we normally read this as prosperity, but this also pictures someone showing generosity. So I'm going to say be generous as you begin this journey. Be generous, be willing to share what you have. I have the Seven of Cups. So you're going to be presented with choices along the way. And before I show you the next card, I have to tell you when Reverend Don did the Kickstarter for this deck, one of the options was to do a particular card, and I asked him to draw me as the Queen of Swords because the Queen of Swords has been representing me for about 30 years now. So the wisdom of the Queen of Swords is to approach a situation by considering what might have worked in the past, what didn't work in the past, and to communicate clearly. Also, interestingly, Ishtar is one of my personal deities, and she is closely related to Inanna.
Yes.
And I'm going to draw a Brian card, and I've got the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is someone who enjoys his life, has his emotions in hand, is a good way to put it. So I would say the journey is the goal.
Yes.
Might be a good way of looking at it. So I hope you find that helpful.
Yes, indeed. Who else have we got?
We are caught up at the moment. Do we want to do our usual?
Yeah, we can do our
caught
usual.
up. We're going. You are very welcome, Harry. And Lena says, ma'am, in my reading, you said something will be revealed to me with the extra card. Is it a bad card, please? There are no such things as good cards or bad cards. The cards are. They mean certain things in a given reading. Their meanings are modified by their position in the reading and by the other cards, but they're neither good nor bad. When I said something will be revealed to you, that's what I mean. You will learn something soon. I don't have any it doesn't mean the information or the spiritual knowing it will affect you one way or the other. Just that something of use to you will be revealed soon. And so what we are doing now is drawing 3 cards about the state of the U.S. What's our time period for the next
week? Because we do it
next
every week.
week?
So
Yeah, and it
first card I
changes so fast.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? First card I have drawn is the Princess of Coins. And the Princess of Coins, we had her a little while ago. She represents having everything that you need, but not necessarily taking the action that you need to take, holding yourself back. So I'm going to take that to mean that, people maybe will be holding themselves back a little more than they ought to be. With it is the Prince of Swords. And all 3 cards are princess or prince. The Prince of Swords is healthy selfishness. It says pay attention to your interests and make sure that your needs get met. Put that with the Princess of Coins and the need to act on what it is you desire. I'd take both of those to mean that it's very important at this time that people act in their best interests. It's not the time to be patient. It's not the time to be understanding. And it's not the time to be concerned with everybody else. It's the time to look at what is necessary for you to move forward in the world and kind of apply that on a broader scale. With that, we have the Prince of Cups, which is expressing your message, expressing your voice in the world. All of it says that, contrary to some previous weeks, this week says, yeah, get up and say something. And that is my reading for the United States for the next week. It's time for people to get up and say something.
So I have the Princess of Cups. And cups are about our emotions, and the Princess of Cups tends to hold back from expressing herself, except the wisdom of this card is don't do that. Express your emotions. So say what you're feeling. And I have the Queen of Lamps. And the Queen of Lamps is about using your magic, but working together with other people to achieve your goals. And finally, I've got the Emperor again. How many times has he come up tonight? But the Emperor is about remembering that things come in cycles. And even if things can look not so great right now, things will change, especially if we speak up and we use our magic to create the changes we want.
Yes. Well, the one constant is always change.
Yes, things always change.
So cool. We have a little look at the next week, and it looks noisy. Or it looks like it should be noisy anyway.
Did I mention I have my grandchild with ADHD?
Yes. Do we have any remaining questions? We have 10 minutes.
Yes.
We can do one more. We could maybe do
You're
two more.
We could indeed.
Don't everyone ask at once. Oh, go ahead. Ask all at once. It's fine.
Or post and tell us if you have plans for this weekend if you're in the
Oh, yeah,
US. It is a holiday weekend for those of us in the US.
it is. My caregiver Shar is going on vacation, and she and her family are going to be camping out and having fun.
Well,
So
I hope your forecast is better than ours then.
Well, I don't know what the forecast is for exactly where she's going because it's not local here.
Meaning of VE? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Janet says
Janet
her
says,
different plan is Pokemon Go.
well, I hope you catch them all.
I think the meaning of V might be a movie.
Oh, okay.
Harry is going to their sister's graduation.
Well, congratulations to your sister. Oh, meaning of the veil in this deck.
The Veil in the Tarot of Hecate is the devil in other tarot decks, and it means worry, anxiety, especially about material matters. Also means putting attention into worries that are not necessarily where your attention needs to be, distraction. It represents getting caught up in minutiae, in material issues, and forgetting the big picture. So when you draw the veil, you want to step back from things and try to see them from a greater distance and try to set aside worry and anxiety to do that. And there you go. It's interesting when we look at tarot decks, the two cards that vary most greatly in modern tarots are the Emperor and the Devil card, based primarily on the spirituality of the person who created the particular tarot. Traditionally, for example, the Emperor was a positive card about structure and form. In the early 20th century, with the First World War and things like that coming up and going on, a lot of people started to see the Emperor as a negative card of oppression and holding things and people back. In the Tarot of Hecate, because we have a slightly different numerology and again a different spirituality, the Emperor is cycles and so forth. In obviously many tarot decks, the Devil card can be taken by some people to be the Judeo-Christian or the Christian version of the devil. In some modern decks, it is identified with the Wiccan horned god and therefore has a very different energy. And in the Tarot of Hecate, it's the veil, and it refers to refers to that same mythology, the god falling into matter, physical incarnation, involution. But in this sense, in the concept of being overly caught up in situations, overly caught up again in minutiae, in anxiety, etc. And these are some of the different ways that these cards have been viewed by different people from different points of view.
That's interesting.
It is actually, and the history of the tarot is very interesting, and some of the weird things that it has gone through. For example, if you ever really want to see a strange transformation of the tarot, study the tarot during the French Revolution. Yeah, they had to get rid of that Emperor card.
I'm
and the
sure.
Emperor card. They became Jupiter and Juno. They had to, I think they completely got rid of the court cards as we know them and replaced them with something else. It's
That
very,
makes perfect sense.
it does. And then, of course, once the revolution had run its course, all of that was scrapped. Although you do still sometimes see the Emperor and Empress as Jupiter and Juno at later dates still.
Which also works for the symbology.
It does.
The thing I find most fascinating is nobody really knows where the idea of using the tarot deck for divination comes from.
No, or when.
All the first mentions we have of it in Italy are rules about gambling.
Yep. And gambling with tarot is still very, very popular in Europe. You know, I often talk about how my mother bought me my first tarot deck, the Hoi Polloi tarot. And we used to use it for playing Tarok, which is the traditional game you play with tarot. But, you know, I find it impossible to believe that it was not used for divination relatively quickly, because everything else is. I'm sure it didn't take them very long.
Was.
Yeah.
But we don't have a written record of it.
Yeah. And this is a lot, and you know, it makes a certain amount of sense.
It
To be
does.
unwilling to say something without a written record to some point. But there are so many things that everybody kind of knew went back before written records, which have subsequently been confirmed. Probably the most dramatic one was the brazier.
Right.
I'm sure you know the story of how nobody thought there were any braziers before, what was it, 1913 or around that time. And then in an old castle in Austria, they find a chest full of them from the 1400s.
Yes. And it
technology.
Yes, it certainly could have been used for divination, and people knew about it, and nobody wrote it down, so they couldn't be burned as witches. But
yeah. Well, and wasn't that the folk belief? Because, you know, when I was young, the folk belief was, what I was taught was, that the major arcana had for many people been kept separate from the other cards, in order to avoid people getting upset over the magical aspect of it. And the use of divination with tarot was therefore kept pretty secret. I don't know that I find that especially hard to believe. Maybe
it does make sense.
I think what I would say is that we don't really know, but this is what people have said. I tend to be hesitant to discount the things that I was taught by people who taught me many things that I know to be true and that I know to work. I figure when the
Right.
majority of it turned out well, if there are places I have to make allowances, I can do that. I'm frequently rather scandalized by how many people can't seem to make that little jump. But
I have a friend who is a very gifted reader who has a past life memory of reading cards in a crowded tavern somewhere in Europe.
Mhm. Yeah, well,
Mhm.
if you listen to common wisdom, an awful lot of the things that you will think are recent developments, if you do a little actual digging, you find out where they're a long time before the
Right.
common wisdom recognizes them. And sometimes followed unusual paths to get to the present. One of the things that might be a good example of this are oracle cards. People often want to
Mhm.
talk about the difference between tarot cards and oracle cards, and the difference has to do with the particular cards. Oracle cards follow different systems than tarot, but tarot can follow a wide range of variation in its system. But oracle cards will be different. But there are a lot of people who think that they're a modern bastardization of card divination, of cartomancy. But people have been using oracle cards for a long time. The Lenormand cards go back to the Napoleonic era.
Mhm.
Um, the Zigeuner cards go back. I don't know how far, but generations at least. They didn't come up in the 60s. They were there in the 1800s. Both drastically different from tarot. And if there are those two, there were others. I don't necessarily know about them offhand, but um, people were using various kinds of cartomancy besides the ones that we commonly think of. And of course, the most common form of cartomancy was with what we would call playing cards, which was
Right.
very widely spread. We want to say hello to Swack Fan, who would like to have
Thanks
a
like
general
that.
reading if possible.
And this will be our last reading, and I will just make one comment on
Mhm,
interesting forms of cartomancy. I know someone who teaches astrology,
mhm.
and she made up basically a set of flashcards of the 12 signs to drill
Mhm.
her students with,
Uh-huh.
and they turned out to be their own divination set.
Absolutely.
You could do a reading with
Cool.
her flashcards.
I did an astrology deck. People complained about how I spelled Jupiter, but what can I say? I'm eccentric. Only one
I'm not
person complained.
I'm
Escapee. Okay. Cards for Swack Fan. Let me retrieve the escapee. Oh, it's three escapees. It's a reading in itself.
Oh wow.
So the three cards they threw out for you, Swag Fan, are Six of Swords, a journey of some sort, not necessarily physical, but you're going to find yourself here in the near future, the next few weeks, going through a bit of a journey. Could be physical, could be actually going somewhere, but it's just as likely to be emotional development. So be prepared for that. Three of Wands, victory in community, celebration in community, achieving something you've desired. So it's very positive, lots of good things around it. And yet at the same time, we have the Eight of Swords, which says, it might not be the way you'd want to do it. You may feel a little held back by some of the aspects of the situation. You may not quite feel that you have all the room you'd like to have, but you're still getting what you've wanted. And there's still a journey going on. Let's draw a Brian card to go with that. We've drawn the Mind, who's shown up several times tonight. And the Mind says that in dealing with this situation, particularly that aspect of feeling held back, don't let that psych you out. But look at the situation and think your way toward the solutions to whatever issues may be there. They are possible. You can come to them, but you're going to have to think about it. You're going to have to use your deducing skills to work through it. And if you do that, it looks good. And there you go.
Excuse me. All right, I have got Judgment.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, here it comes. So there's going to be some sort of decision in your favor, I think. We've got the Four of Pentacles. So things are doing well in the material realm. And the Prince of Cups. So this is about your creativity. Express yourself.
Express yourself.
Hey, hey.
So very cool.
Yes. So I hope that's helpful. All right. So that is going to be it for tonight or today or this morning, wherever you're watching us.
Yes.
As you can guess, it's late for me. I'm yawning. And Reverend Don, would you close us out with a prayer?
Certainly. Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you for all that you do for us in our lives, and we rejoice in this walk we walk together. We ask you to help us as we go forward to see all those things that we need to see to help us chart our course, to understand the advice that you send to us through divination, through dreams, through daily life, and apply that advice to our lives to make things better. Beloved Mother Goddess, beloved Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you with great love and knowing you are always with us. Still, we thank you for your presence, and may you blessed be. May you blessed be. And we'll be back next week.
Yes, we will. Blessed be, everyone.